So there is um, a handout this morning, and that is if you wish, the table of these 15 wholesome qualities called skillful in goodness, which create I think this is very appropriate today, modern language, but I think very meaningful, really feel very meaningful, which is the ecology, the environment that one creates or sits in or bees in, I like that, being in, to create the optimal auspicious qualities for uh, um, the ripening, if you wish, or the revealing of liberative mind. This to me is, it's not just logical, it's fundamental. We have to realize we have to create the suitable environment by which revelation, discovery happens. No different than in a science lab. If you don't have the equipment and you don't have the appropriate means, then there's no way to do the experiments. Simple. Even in natural studies, you have to have the right environment, mental environment, physical environment, communication environment for things to grow. In the same way, the Buddha is describing 15 qualities that make not just the practice of loving kindness, but the practice of what are called the divine abidings. So they ripen. Otherwise, one is always struggling to bring about a continuum of loving kindness, a continuum of compassion, a continuum of sympathetic joy and equanimity. So to me, this is utterly important to not ignore this. So you've got some Pali terms. I kind of promised you we wouldn't do so much Pali, but important that you've got the Pali, and also a number of English translations from different texts and also from the dictionary, but different flavors. And by having this list and perhaps twice a day or 3 times a day reviewing it, it helps to grow the right bacteria, fungi, plants, all kinds of creatures in your environment that are actually the substrate for this. Okay, so there we go. So continuing on with this text, a few words here. the text of loving kindness and the practice of metta constitutes one of, excuse me, is one of the 4 what are called the divine abidings, or the illimitables. These are the boundless states that are a really suitable foundation for the ripening of the not ripening but the revealing of the awake mind. So, as I mentioned earlier, a number of days ago, feels like about 6 months ago, as I mentioned earlier, the 4 Brahmaviharas, especially metta meditation, were considered meditations that actually for meditations of freedom before the Buddha's time. And the Buddha clearly, and the traditions afterwards, said, not so, unless they're conjoined with a wisdom practice, which is where we're going to get to. So the question for you, and I'm going to go a little further into this, the question for you is metta and also compassion and sympathetic joy and equanimity something that you develop, something that you discover every once in a while in your being, go, wow, there's equanimity. Wow, that's amazing. Or is equanimity, and this is very different, if you wish, in most places within the Theravadan tradition, but not all, are the 4 Brahmaviharas innate or something that you develop in external. And when it comes to the great master, Jitsun Sumgon, living in the 11th century in Tibet, was a great enlightened being, great master of the Drikung Kagyu. He founded the Drikung Kagyu lineage. He said, no, actually, the four Brahmaviharas, as loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity, are in fact the kernels, the core of Buddha nature. It's innate. So this is really important, and I think it saves a lot of time if you understand that loving kindness is something that is a property of Buddha nature, that you don't just develop. You allow, you find, and you keep cultivating to come out more and more and more. It makes it much faster than going, I'm going to build loving kindness. I'm going to create loving kindness. But if you actually let loving kindness come out by having the right environmental circumstances. I'll give you an example. There are wild orchids here. We're having a wild orchid come up that I've never seen before up on the ridge. It's great. All of a sudden, look at that. There's a new wild orchid. Those orchids and some of the plants here have to have just the right conditions and the right pollinators. Otherwise they won't show up. So too, it could be that one needs just the right conditions, the right auspicious conditions, the right nutrients for you to spot more and more the innate loving kindness, the innate compassion, the innate sympathetic joy, and equanimity. I wrote this down somewhere. So it is widely considered in so many areas of the tradition of Buddhism that you develop the four Brahmaviharas. But as I said, according to Jitsun Sumgon, he said, to quote, the four immeasurables are the essence of the Buddha embryo, the essence of Tathagata Garbha. That is the fully awake nature and Buddhahood, end of quote. And you can find that in his Vajra statement 1.28, which is in this a text of his Vajra statements, very profound. So he said it's actually something that is the essence. So if you see it that way, then we're actually extracting the essence as opposed to every time developing something that is foreign. This is a very important view. This is called view. And how you approach the path is very much what you get out of the path. So if you can hear that from the beginning, that you're looking for enlightenment as opposed to developing enlightenment, you're looking for the qualities of enlightenment that are in the forest, they're in the ecosystem, and not just building them from scratch. This is completely different. And I think will save a lot of beings 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 years of wandering around, searching to try to build these things. Yeah. Of course you have to build them, but you can only build what's already there. So, back to the text. So when we look at this text, the Metta Sutta, and now we're on the next paragraph there. The text that you have before you, I don't know if you have two texts, but one of them says, and let him think, or really what it means is let him meditate or contemplate. And it says in this one, in safety and in bliss, may creatures all be of a blissful heart. That's one interpretive translation, but I would prefer the literal translation, which is in Pali is Sukino wa kemino hontu sabe sata bhavantu sukitata, which is if you want to write this down, which is in the Pali, may all beings be blissful or happy and safe. May all beings be happy and safe. May all beings be at ease. That is the actual straightforward translation. So when it says safety, if you really look up that word and how it's used in context, it means free of danger. Now, for you here on Galiano, there's not a lot of points of danger. But actually, in many places in the world, meditating, walking, going places is dangerous. If we were meditating, for instance, on Vancouver Island, or meditating, practicing together in the interior BC, then you have danger. What's the dangers? You know the dangers? Actually, one has to be very careful. Bears. Cougars, bears. And you have to be very, very careful. As some of you know, I used to live in Roslyn, British Columbia, and I had bears living in my backyard, which meant every day when you went out the house, you had to check for bears crossing the front yard. Especially at about 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, the bears in the backyard would always come around the garage and go across the front yard. That's a dangerous situation. When I used to live in Nelson, British Columbia, when I used to walk on the old railroad track area, I used to have to carry a stick for cougars. So danger is for real, you see? And there was a time when we had to look out for bandits, yes, robbers, bandits, yogins would be robbed and so on. So this is for real. So it's not just that, it's falling trees, it's illness, all kinds of things in this world. To be a sentient being is to be actually in danger, and it's possible to get harmed. Yeah. And awareness really helps. Awareness and understanding relative causality really helps lower, to a large degree, the possibility of harm, self and others. Any questions on that point? This is now where it goes to wisdom. The practice and the unfolding of loving kindness, or metta, gives great opportunities for the unfolding of wisdom, relative wisdom, and absolute wisdom. If the mind is turbulent and pushing everything away, stats show that you'll actually get hurt more often. It's a dangerous situation to be aggressing and to be pushing things away in your life, because you're actually not seeing the interdependence of phenomena. So if you have that written down, another text, if you want to use this, is quite like this. It's a little shorter. In gladness, or in bliss and happiness, in gladness and in safety, which means free of danger, may all beings be at ease. That is very beautiful. Very, very, very good translation. In gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. And ease here means easeful, happy, relatively happy, sometimes blissful, glad, yeah, all these qualities. So instead of giving you one formula, I think it's important to understand its meaning, and then you pick one of them. Practice with one of them for now. Then the text says, whatever, and here they've inserted breathing beings, whatever breathing beings, sentient beings, beings that exchange gases in modern language, are considered sentient. That would include all, except for maybe viruses, would include all beings. whatever breathing beings, and this, of course, don't think that's actually in the Pali. Yeah, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, no matter whether they are frail or firm, weak or strong, with none accepted. That means boundless. So we tend to generally fixate, some don't, fixate on dogs and cats and so on, and pets, but most of the time human beings tend to fixate on human beings. What about the human beings? What about the human beings? But actually this brings one out into realizing that we are in an interdependent soup with all sentient beings. There's no such thing as a human being. Human beings don't actually truly exist as such. You ready for this? Yeah? Ready for this? I'm also seeing who's there. Oh, look. Interesting. Human being, the actual human cells, are the minority of cells that make up what we call a human being. In the same way that right now we are embedded in this forest called Crystal Mountain property, Crystal Mountain Society property, and we are a minor component, a tiny, tiny minor component of this ecosystem. Is this making sense? But we, in our ego view, in our self-referencing view, we tend to forget very quickly that we're embedded and interdependent in an ecosystem that's vast, with vast number of creatures. If we are to, which we don't do in these retreats, please, but if we were to take off our clothes and examine our skin with a microscope, we would see that there are little nematode worms, tiny little nematode worms. Every once in a while you might get an itch or a little feeling, what's that? But the skin is covered with nematode worms, and of course is covered with all kinds of bacteria and fungi. It's absolutely vital to life. We lose those, we also get sick very quickly. They're in our eyes, in our hair, in our eyebrows, little kind of creatures moving around, but actually the entire surface of the body is covered in an ecosystem. Yeah? The bacteria in our armpits is different than the bacteria here. The bacteria over here has a different composition than the bacteria over here. It is a protective layer that is absolutely fundamental to our life. Isn't that cool? And so too, the bacteria in the gut can shift and change, the bacteria that is in the throat, and so on internally is also an ecosystem, a very complex ecosystem, which far outnumbers the human cells. You see? Where's our focus? Us. So loving kindness is not just about loving human beings, it's loving all beings, caring for all beings. That means caring for your physical form, caring for your speech form, all your speech, internal and external speech. When we say the Vajrasattva mantra, Om Bendra Sapta Samaya Manupalaya, we're actually vibrating not just us, but all these sentient beings. Cool. That means we're also communicating Om Bendra Satta Samaya Manupalaya. We're communicating with all the beings around us, which are actually not separate. That's not metaphysical. It's actually modern science. It's so wonderful to read a few years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, in I think an article in Nature Science mainstream journal. The first line in the journal was, there is no such thing as a human being. That was so cool to read that. That's just amazing to read in modern science, finally. There is no such thing as a human being. A human being is an ecosystem of creatures. The first line, right in the paper. Mainstream science. So who are we practicing loving kindness for? So to come out of dukkha, come out of this incessant friction, suffering, one of the fast ways is metta. But metta is not just about, oh, may all beings, be cared for. It's really creating and embedding ourselves in an ecosystem of care, right? Care for something much wider than ourselves. All breathing beings. So this is why it is boundless. It is illimitable. It's amazing. Non-distinction. No matter whether they are frail or firm, strong or sick or weak, with none excepted, be they long or short or big, so long or big or middle-sized, or be they short or small, or thick, as well as those seen or unseen. How many are unseen?
Most of them.
99.999% of all life on this planet is unseen life. You can't see it without a lens. It's quite a primitive lens, but you can't see it. Okay? And without a microscope, you're missing examining and interacting, or at least consciously interacting with 99.99% of sentient life. You'd say, well, but we see all this big stuff. All that big stuff is actually covered inside and out with really small stuff. So we come to wisdom. Just a pause. This is a summer retreat pause for planes. We come to something really important. Have you ever asked this question, perhaps when you were a teenager? Who are you? What are you? That existential question of who am I is what's really torturing people. So when you distill down a lot of the questions that you've got going internally and externally, what is the real question? It's an existential question. This isn't philosophy. Existential question. Who am I? What am I? How am I? Where am I? How am I doing? What's my relationship to others? Okay, do you want to write this down? Work with this. Work with this. And all of a sudden, in this text, we're going to come back to the Four Noble Truths. And that starts the next line. Or whether they are dwelling far or near, existing or yet seeking to exist. What is it that is on our mind all day long? What is going on? Now we come to wisdom. Yeah? What is it that's driving us both happy and sad and glad and irritated and anxious? What is it? Just feel it. It's about existence. What am I doing? Where am I going in life? Who am I really? Do they love me? Do they not love me? Are they with me or are they against me? Are they enemy or foe? Should I love them or not love them? Should I care for them or not care for them? About us, about me. Yeah, so you take all the questions and you just point it at this existence and say, this is what's on my mind. All the stories, all the fabrications are distilled down into 3 points in Dharma. Buddha was a genius. 3 points. There's 3 major clingings going on every fraction of a second. You ready for it? And some of you have studied this and practiced this lots, but It's always worth hearing again, and for those that are new to the Dharma, it's really worth hearing. First one. What do we do all day to stay buoyant, to engage? We focus and then unfocus, or cling or attach and unattach to sensory experience, sensing experience. Remember breath yesterday, last night? The 6 senses, the 5 regular senses plus the sensory organ, if we wish, called awareness. I will come to Gary's question. Awareness. Like this. Not just with the eyes, with the ears, with the skin, yeah? Internally, viscerally, mentally, like this. Like if I had, it'd be nice to have some, was it castanets? Yeah. What plane is that? Where's it going? Who's in the room? What was that sound outside? Oh, little feeling here. Little itch. Little sensation. Yeah? So, clinging, non-clinging. Attachment, non-attachment. How many times a second? Okay. What else do we do? We have thoughts and feelings about who we are. That's all about existence. So clinging to existence. What is it that human beings and all sentient creatures get up to all day long? This is where love comes from. Then if you hear this, I hope your love for sentient beings grows. Just hear it. What do all sentient beings do all day long? Whether you're an amoeba, whether you're a bacteria, whether you're a monkey, whether you're a human being. What do they do? Who am I and what should I do with this existence? And that happens thousands and thousands of times every single day. Is this correct? Just get real. Get it down to the base level. What's happening? And what's the other one? Buddha said, clinging to non-being. That's the feeling of, if I just didn't have a being, I'd feel happier. Yeah? If I was to be in a state, a meditative state, where I didn't think, I didn't have to interact, I didn't even have to come on retreat, right? Boy, I'd feel so peaceful. If I had no thoughts, no feelings, no perception, just kind of spaced out, maybe kind of on drugs or spaced out or deep in meditation, and didn't have to interact. I didn't even have to think about myself. I didn't have to do the dishes. I didn't have to make a meal. I didn't have to do the duties of family. I could just have a blank mind. No body. Wow. Yeah? Free of existence. Did you feel that? How many times a day did you have that feeling? And what is the extreme form? Suicide. Of course. Thoughts of suicide. If I just ended it, God, I'd be happy. Man, I'd be so happy if I just finished it off. Yeah. I'd release. Isn't that neat? So these 3 clingings, clinging to sensation, this is what it's mentioning in the text, clinging to being, clinging to non-being, clinging to sensation. That is what the mind does, the conditioned mind, not the primordial mind. The conditioned mind is doing thousands and thousands of times a day. And is it doing it with awareness, vivid awareness? Is it doing with recollective, vivid awareness? Or is it simply drifting and wandering from sensation to questions of existence, to questions of no existence, to feelings about what? Sensation, existence, and no existence. This is called wisdom meditation. It's called insight. So there we have it. That next line, existing or yet seeking to exist, which means yet to be born. That's literally what it means, yet to be born. May creatures all be of blissful, it says heart. It's not in the text, but may all creatures be blissful, be at ease. Sukhi tata. Yeah, that's what it means. Sukhi tata. Yeah. Let no one work another one's undoing. That means may nobody harm others or even slight him or her at all anywhere. And never let them wish each other ill. Another way of saying that is, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. That's beautiful, isn't it? So this contemplation of ecology, this contemplation of environment, vast interconnectedness, is where this is going. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. The 5 precepts. Let none deceive another. Lie, cheat, tell tall stories, misinformation. I've been reading a little bit about misinformation. The amount of money that is made from misinformation is, I had no idea. I had no idea the sums that one can make by misinformation campaigns. Not only the harm it does to others, but I had no idea it's not just ideology. When you read about people making almost $1 million a day generated sales from stirring up misinformation, oh, I can see some reasons for doing this. That's really something. And I suspect you make far less from actual non-misinformation. It's probably only like $100 a day or something like that. Yeah, so, if it's $1 million or $500,000 or whatever a day, which one would you pick? Especially if you can get away with it. Yeah. Let none deceive another. How much precept breaking is going on? How much deception is going on? Out of anger, out of greed, out of delusion? Or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will or frustration wish harm upon another. I believe if you hear this, you listen to this, and you get the implications, your heart, your mind, your whole being will go out to the enormous suffering. This is not to make you negative or to make you depressed, but to actually get real about what sentient beings are caught in. It's a tough go. What do beings want to do with themselves? Therefore, a being that is in some confusion will do anything to do what? Let's just talk about basic ecological economics. What will not just a human being, any sentient being do under most conditions? What are they really up to?
Trying to stay alive.
Trying to stay alive. And if it's not staying alive, what is it? To be happy.
Yeah.
If I may, to be happy. Not to be anxious. So if you understand the drive of sentient beings, whether they're bacteria, whether they're a giraffe, whether they're a raccoon, it's really important. They don't want to be unhappy. They don't want to be anxious. They'll do anything to come out of that. Even make themselves utterly miserable. Discouraged, miserable, tied up in knots, hurt to come out of this feeling of unease, dukkha, unease. Don't just translate the word dukkha as suffering. Unease, disturbed, something not right. And when something isn't right, it's called anxiety. It's an anxious state, and we'll do anything we can do to change that, including harming ourselves and other beings. That should bring about tremendous love if you know that you don't have to actually do that. You don't have to harm another being. You don't actually have to harm yourself. Yeah. So what is metta? Metta is an experience where you care for not only your own being, for other beings, and it's a space of non-harm. Understand? Space of non-harm. That's the beginning of the path to liberation. Freedom. Beautiful. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child. So again, to what degree does one have metta? It's saying, like a mother will protect her children. Yeah? That's the kind of metta you'd like to have. Yes. I'd prefer, they keep putting the word heart in it. It's actually a good translation, but except for these things. With boundlessness should one cherish all living beings. That is without limits, radiating kindness over the entire world, permeating the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, free from hatred and ill will. Metta meditation is the great antidote to ill will, to anger. And the text that you have is very helpful because it has some key points to keep in mind. And never let them wish each other ill through provocation or resentful thought. And just as might a mother with her life protect the son or the children, that the child that was her only child, so let him or her then for every living thing maintain, which actually is develop unbounded consciousness in being. Yeah. So this is you train to find out what it's like to have the unbounded experiences of metta by training until it just is naturally present. That's the beautiful experience that comes out of this, is that one day, out of so much practice, you're rising up, you're sitting, you're doing something, you're talking to somebody, you're walking in the forest, and all of a sudden recollection, metta or sati, mindfulness, catches the quality of unbounded metta. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll pause for a second and see if there's any questions about this. There was some. No questions? Yes.
When you speak about the experience of unbounded metta, is it correct to say it's a jhanic state? It's a state of jhana?
If it has the features of uh, thought free, if it has the features of mental bliss and physical bliss, or physical bliss then mental bliss, if the mind is steady and only has one object, boundlessness, metta for all beings, then yes, it's a jhana. It's an absorption state, absolutely. But you can have a light samadhi, you can have a light concentration where there's occasional thought. It's not so blissful, but it's actually very, very strong. So yes, you can have both. You can have both a very deep absorption in metta, and you can have also a lighter samadhi, which can go on, of course, for hours and hours, which has occasional thought, drops in and out, but is a beautiful contemplation, if you wish, or meditation on metta. Yes. So Michael's asking about whether this unbounded is a jhanic state, is an absorption state, and yes, it goes that way. Absolutely, yes, for sure. So therefore, if you practice this and for hours and hours and hours, there will come a point where all thoughts drop away, and eventually you will experience just this vast expanse of care, wish care, if you wish, unspeakable, for all sentient beings in every direction. Yes. Some people have used the term, I think it's more a Western, is the experience of a cosmic love or universal love. That means you can't find any limits to this feeling, and it's not your feeling. So it's very genuine when you're not generating it anymore. It's boundless. It just engulfs, if you want, permeates everything, and it's not you permeating, and then you're definitely in jhana, in absorption, for sure. Yeah. Some other.
I just wondered, Lemon Mark, if that's the same as unbounded consciousness.
Yes, unbounded consciousness doesn't have to have the feature of a care or a kindness for all sentient beings.
Right.
So when it's mixed and it has the definite qualities of care, wish, feeling of great love for all sentient beings, then we have metta. But boundless consciousness can be without that feature. Absolutely. Bounded space, boundless consciousness don't have to have the experience of metta.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yes.
I'm a little stuck on something here.
If you could speak up through that mask.
Sure.
Almost ready to take the masks off, eh? Yeah. Go ahead.
So my question, Mark, is that, especially if I consider that it's a love that a mother would have towards her only child, then that I imagine that love to be very active and would have a sense of responsibility. And so if I'm sitting here and I'm contemplating love and care for all beings, then at the same time, am I supposed to feel like then I should go help them? Then I should go spend my time devoted to their care?
Yes, absolutely. But should you always? Maybe not. Is it appropriate? Maybe not. But if you have that feeling of, I really need to get out there and help beings, that's beautiful. But can you? Should you? These are other questions for you. We'll get into that. What is compassionate? For sure. Absolutely. This is quite normal in retreat, is people wanting now to get out of retreat and help all kinds of beings. Absolutely. Interact and help all kinds of beings. That's a good thing. But it doesn't necessarily mean you may also too early on break the unfolding of metta by coming out of retreat. It's quite normal. This is, by the way, a normal factor, a normal feature of people that do really good retreat work is having a heart of metta and now saying, well, I shouldn't be meditating anymore. I should be getting out there and helping. But actually, for development of liberation, development of compassion, skill and means, and all kinds of other qualities, it might be a very, very good thing to stay in retreat. Here's something this is continuing on with your question. Is if you wish, a dilemma, a decision, not always a decision by some beings, is stay in retreat, deep retreat, and develop extraordinary qualities, which can take many months to many years. And I'll give you an analogy for that. Or come out soon and help beings and not have all those qualities. So that would be similar to somebody who does, let me give you an example. Let's just try this. 4 years of pre-med and really wants to get out there and help people, but hasn't finished the training, the wisdom, the training that's required after years and years of training with really good mentors that can really, really help beings. You see the dilemma? When do you go out there and be skillful with sentient beings? Just because you care like a mother for sentient beings doesn't necessarily mean you have the skill of an experienced mother or father for sentient beings. I'm just going to put that one in there. It's very easy to say, oh, I've got it now, and I can now help all sentient beings. Maybe not. Yes, one more, and then we'll take a bit of a break. Yes.
I'm not sure. Well, anyway, I'm curious about developing an ecosystem of the qualities and then combining that with something like hollow body to develop that sense of boundlessness. Is that partly?
So for this development or the awareness of this ecosystem, the question is, if I may,
Yeah.
would it be advantageous to then use or meditate on the hollow body? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Where does that come in? Hollow body practice.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this. If you were to practice and develop the metta meditation, would you in fact come to hollow body or not come to hollow body? I suggest that you will pretty quickly come, unless you're just dull. You know, there are dull meditators, and sometimes I have to actually interrogate them and grill them to help them. But I would say that most people that meditate well in metta meditation are going to encounter full-on the hollow body. Why? Because the hollow body is part of this practice. What is hollow body? A body that actually doesn't. So when we sit here, we think we have a body. Can you all do that? Can you feel your body? Who would say that they don't have a body? Maybe somebody in the room, but most of you would say, well, of course I have a body, yes? How do you know you have a body? Let's all do that, okay? Like this. Yeah, of course I've got a body. Yeah. Of course I've got a body. But where does that body experience come from? Sensations made up in the mind and computed into a body. So when you go like this, I'll do this. Just kind of tap your thigh. We would normally go, this is my body. Try that. Just say that. This is my body. Try that, all the folks on Zoom, right? My body. What is the experience? Sensation of what? Touch. Of what? How do you know this is your chest? How do you know? Maybe it's this. We've done that in retreats where people have gone like this and they go, oh my God, I feel my body. I can't distinguish that from my body sensation. Where is the body sensation and the experience of body? It's generated in the mind. Today we'd say it's generated in the brain. It happens very quickly, and we don't know it happens. When we calm down, when we have deep tranquility, what happens? Our nervous system slows, our cognition slows, and one of the classic experiences is the body begins to vanish. Why? Because the cognition is less sticky and holding that experience as a clinging experience, an existential experience. So, let me ask you a question to practice with. Do you need to have an experience of your body to exist? Or will it frighten you? If you suddenly lose your body, will you get frightened and panic and have an anxiety attack? What do you say?
I would say that you need an experience of your body to function in the world. So if you can't feel your body, then
Maybe.
Could be scary.
Let's get back to the question I've asked. If you're sitting here and suddenly you don't have a body, are you going to be full of anxiety because you no longer exist? But now to come to this question by someone, I think it was Gary. Can awareness be used in place of mind as experience and phenomena rising and dissolving into awareness? It's from Gary. What would happen if there's awareness, but there's no awareness of body? Existence or no existence? So the clinging around body as existence is extremely tenacious. If you relax the nervous system, which happens every night and every time you take a nap, and by the way, and happens hundreds of times a day without people having the awareness of it. Today in this class, the experience of body has probably vanished 1,000 times. If you have the awareness and you have the meditative ability, you'll notice that in this class, the experience of body, your body, and actually others' bodies, has vanished and blinked out and disappeared for anywhere from half a second to seconds, continuously all through this class, and you had no problem with it. Because the imagination kicks in and keeps that image of body alive and that feeling of body alive. So when you do this, and the focus becomes steady, one of the key things that happens is the idea, the concept of body will quickly vanish. And if you can do that more and more and get very comfortable with it, you'll see that you don't have to actually have a body. Not that a body is bad, and not good, but it's actually something generated in the mind. So that's hollow body. Hollow body is a practice to bring you to that quite quickly. But meditation should bring that about as well. Okay. But hollow body is a very specific practice for that contemplation. Okay. Let's take a 10-minute break. We'll come back and go a little further in the text. Who else is there, Travis? If you can go to the next page there. Who else is with us today? Great. So a question for Teague. Teague, I want you to try this. I want you to be able to go for a 5-minute walk and see if you have a body or no body, and if it's possible to actually walk with no awareness of body.
right now.
No, not right now. That was good. How many of you can drive? How many of you can drive a car or drive a motorcycle or a bicycle without awareness of body? Let's see a show of hands. Can you do that? Isn't that cool? How many of you can use a cell phone without awareness of body?
Oh.
How often does it happen? You see? So it's a question of actually being able to notice those things that are conceptual contrivances or fabrications that are normally accepted as true, but if you look very carefully, you'll see not at all. Not even slightly. So many things we do, like right now, is we can speak without awareness of body. Isn't that cool? And if you can see that, it's really profound. That means you can go for a walk and there is just awareness with actually a transparent globe of a body. Why? Because that's actually closer to what it is. The body is an imaginary experience with some sensory information that is contrived into a historic view of what you have. Very easy thing we've done so many times. This is, by the way, this is the insight practice. These are insight practices. It is so easy to demonstrate that by one of you reaching over to somebody else. Yeah, maybe Marie, you just touch Rod's shoulder there. Yeah, that's beautiful. Marie, touch Rod's shoulder, and Marie, tell me what you touched. We say, look, Marie touched Rod's shoulder. She touched Rod. What did you touch, Marie?
A blob.
Okay, a blob of protoplasm. No, but yeah. Sorry, Rod. She called you a blob of something. Years of meditative practice as a blob. My husband's a blob. But Marie, what actually? Just look, and you can all say, what did Marie actually touch?
This T-shirt.
It's T-shirt, fabric. What did you pick up sensorily? T-shirt fabric information.
Yeah.
And what was the experience? I'm touching Rod. A familiarity, a concept in the mind, which happens so fast, it's such a blur that it's familiar. And we all do it, so therefore it's familiar. But actually, even with your eyes, how much are you actually picking up of information of another being going, oh yeah, there's Ava, there's Rod, there's Aryan. I can tell Aryan's got certain eyebrows, and therefore, yeah, okay, it's Aryan. Shave his eyebrows? No, it's not him. Oh yeah, let's continue with this this sublime text. So you see, it's describing what's called the meditation in the 10 directions, how to practice. Radiating kindness, or metta, over the entire world. Spreading upwards the skies, downwards the depths, outwards and unbounded, free from hatred and ill will. If it's free of hatred and ill will, what you have this extraordinary feeling of care of all sentient beings, unspeakable actually. Then next line, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection, this sati. This is said to be the sublime abiding. I really like that. Resting, abiding. So this tells you exactly how to practice. Every posture, not just sitting. Oh, I can generate metta when I'm sitting, but when I get up, I like to step on people's toes and bug them. No, it's every single posture, every change of posture, continuously seeing if one can maintain this unbounded feeling. One should sustain this recollection, that is mindfulness. Yeah? Mindfulness of the experience of metta. Free from drowsiness is a sign. So I noticed that many of you went outside or in the tent and stretched. Stretching is to do what? To have sensation of breath. Just like that. Why? Why? I'm not saying it's wrong, it's just why? There's sensation everywhere. Why that sensation?
Because more breath keeps one more alert.
Alert, yeah. So now, ask you a question. If you contact metta, So you have all the energy in the world. Do you feel that? Can you feel it? Your mind is bright. You have tons of energy, tons of sensation, energy, bright. That's prana. Yeah. Free from drowsiness. And it's also free from the 5 hindrances, which is a reference to that. Yeah. In Pali, you'll see the references for those that wishes. Vigata middo, free from drowsiness, freedom from drowsiness. So that's what I'd like you to do now, today, is shorter sessions. I know you've been doing 3 or 4 hour sitting meditations. I'm just joking, but short sessions where you practice without interruption for an hour or 2 hours the 4 different postures. You start with, in the classic way, you start with walking, you go to standing, sitting, and lying down. And you can try that first with the metta meditation. Just keep with the refrain going, right? Which is in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Something like that. Okay? So, walk for 15 minutes, slowly. Take up 20 feet, 30 feet, yeah? 10 meters. Walk slowly. Say the refrain, say the metta refrain. Don't just have to repeat it to get rid of thoughts, but really contemplate it, really feel it through your body. Walk back and forth through the forest. Then stand. After 15 minutes approximately, stand. And standing is not so easy for many people. And if 15 minutes is too much, try 10. What's it like to stand? You may even find it's more comfortable to do this for 15 minutes. Oh, like a stork. Or something. Stand. In gladness and in safety, may all beings be blissful. To the front, to the side, the back, the left, as above and below. After 15 minutes, slowly take a seat on the ground, up here, on the top of your dresser, wherever it may be, up in a tree. This is a very concentrated posture. It's very good, very contained, very concentrated. This is very open, very loose. In gladness, safety, may all beings be blissful. 15 minutes. Then, after that, unless you have a habit of falling asleep within 2 or 3 seconds of laying down, take a laying down posture, and a very energetic, as some of you can lay on your back, but for some of you that's very difficult to do without falling asleep. So, for most, go to your right side. It's more energetic. This closes off the heart a little bit, but not always so. And lay down, yeah, like this. You know, the lion posture. Hello there. Lay down like this. Yeah. Little pillow under your hand, like that. And be alert. And say the refrain for 15 minutes.
Would you mind doing that again?
Sure. Okay. There's a demo. I'll lie this way. Little pillow, like this. Lion posture. Some of you are comfortable on your back, but just watch for the snores. Okay, so that is how it's done classically. And if you want to do 2 hours, repeat it again. 3 hours, repeat it again, so that you do three sets. That's how it's done. Then, as you become more skillful in it, more relaxed, more easeful, settle into it, more energetic, you can expand the sitting time. You can expand the standing time a little bit. You can bring the walking up to 20 minutes, bring the standing up to 20 minutes, the sitting up to 40 minutes to an hour, lying down maybe 15, 20 minutes. And so all postures. What other postures do you have where you maintain the continuity of metta? This posture, this posture, this posture, this posture, this posture, this posture. Every single in between, as the Buddha said, stretching, bending, touching, moving, everything is metta. Everything's metta. Then you'll really progress. You really, really progress when you can slow down and everything is metta. How do you know it's metta when you're doing these kinds of activities? You go, wow, it's boundless. Yes, maybe. One of the signs is that when you touch things, it feels great. When you're experiencing metta, something like this, kind of like a kid, it's like, wow, that's really good. It feels fantastic. You think I'm joking? Have you had that before?
Yeah.
Yeah? It's just like, God, walking. Whoa, that feels so good. And if you feel really good, blissful, other things that you see and hear are blissful. When you hear a sound of an airplane, wow, that's nice. When a pen drops off a table, cool. You see? Are you getting the hang of it? You feel it. That's how you practice. Okay. It's not length of time of practice, it's quality. How are you doing with the quality? So 10 minutes is better than 1 hour. I'm saying, I sat for 1 hour. Congratulations. We can train dogs and cats and pigs to sit for long periods of time and actually utter sounds. What's important here is not that you can sit or stand for 3 or 4 hours and do all kinds of funny things, yes? Or be in a posture like this for 5 or 6 hours. That's not the point. The point is it actually productive and is it moving? So often shorter is better. And just like riding a bicycle, remember riding a bicycle with training wheels? Start with short, go for long, and eventually you can take the training wheels off. You see metta. He just wanted to reach out and touch that lamp. Was that cool or what? Yeah. Wow, that feels so good. Where does feeling good start? If you start just like a massage, through touch. Most of us start with touch. Some of us start with smell. Yeah. Often today it's visual. Look at the flower. Look at those roses. Look at that wonderful coffee, or this. Oh my gosh, the cover on that book. You see, good feeling. Good feeling. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Question.
Yeah. In case I start to ruminate, or there's kind of hijacked by stories or whatever, would that be a time to stop the practice, just go back to breathing, or kind of settle the mind and then go back? Because if not, then I'm kind of like, I'll do this.
Exactly right. So, rule of thumb, worth again writing down. The only reason there's rumination is that you're not happy, you're not comfortable, you're anxious about what you're doing. It's the only reason for ruminating. When the body is engaged in sensation and it feels good, it doesn't need to ruminate. It doesn't need to think. So, there is a switch in the brain, which is an interoceptive switch located in the brain, kind of right through here. Okay? And that switch is, if it doesn't get sensory information, it starts to ruminate, starts to think. All this activity up here. Yeah? But as soon as you're imbued in sensation that's comfortable, feels good, we'll call it breath. Anything. It could be rubbing your foot. It could be rubbing your hand. It could be sipping water. Less thoughts, less rumination, less fantasy. That's how it is. So what do? Shahar's right. Stop. Feel your body. Contact the breath. Anything that's a physical sensation to take you out of the rumination. And then pause, recollect. It says in the text, recollect, and bring it back to the meditation on metta. Absolutely. What is the feeling of metta? What's the feeling of metta? Sensation. It's a metta sensation. Sounds like a good ad for a certain company. Mm-hmm. Yeah, certain company, excellent ad. Have the metta sensation. Copyright. I'd better trademark that. Have the metta sensation. It is. If you have a feeling of loving kindness, what do you have? It's a sensation. It's a mental, physical sensation. Yeah, absolutely. So, Shahar? What's an easy way for your let's say compassion, love for another person, to take them out of rumination and distress and anxiety? What's a very simple thing that we often do in polite society?
I orient them to the space around them.
Yeah, but something that we do as a habitual, just kind of a normal cultural thing that we do to lower anxiety and bring about metta. We give them a hug. On Galiano, we instantly give them a hug. Guatemala, it's instantly close hugs, right? Guatemala, it's a hug. What else do we do? Compliment. Here, have a glass of stick something in your mouth. That does it right away. Just stick something in your mouth, like a breast, or like a glass. And all of a sudden, someone's going, "Wow, that's great. Thank you very much." What else do we do?
Feed.
Pardon?
Feed.
Feed them. Feed them. Feed them. Give them bread. What else? Give them cake, actually, she said, before she lost her head. Give them cake. May they have cake. What else? What else do we do? We don't do anymore because of COVID. What is it that we used to do when we meet people?
Shake hands.
Shake hands. Lowers anxiety, makes people physically feel comfortable right away if you can shake their hand. Why? It removes the danger, removes the feeling that there may be some harm or aggression or something. As soon as you shake a person's hand, you've actually made contact, and it takes them away from thinking about things. It's really straightforward. So yes, exactly right. Recollect the sensation of metta. Recollect the body in metta. Recollect it, remember it, and it comes back. Yeah. Can you right now recollect a loved one? Someone you love. Right now, recollect that. Yeah. What's it feel like? Oh, it's good. It's good. What's that? That sensation. Yeah. You see? If someone was a pilot, does anybody here fly planes? Fly planes? And you may hear that sound and go, oh, Cessna 150 or something. Or for Teague over there, right? He hears a truck go by, goes, oh my God, that's a Ford 150. Is that right? He goes, oh, that's a Ford 150. Or it's a Harley. It's a Harley. You see? What is that? That sensation. That's a feeling of metta. Oh, but that's affection. That's going towards affection. Now, Teague has the experience of, may all Harleys and all the beings that ride on Harleys be free of danger. And may they be full of bliss and gladness and comfort. Now we're talking loving kindness, you see. No, really, serious. Okay. No, one more thing. To help your practice, do not, and this is very high, this is real high tantric practice. Don't separate loving kindness from beings and objects, and you will progress very quickly. That means when you can feel the cup, put glasses on, look at things, put your watch on, you go, oh my gosh, there's a care and attention for phenomena, all phenomena. We're talking really high practice. That is the care for all phenomena, all experience, not just beings. Like the care and attention that Travis puts towards making sure that these Zoom classes have is loving kindness. You see? Yes.
Mark, is it possible to feel kind of melancholia, like,
Which?
sadness in metta?
Sadness and metta?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
And if so, why? Like, is it because you feel the sadness of the world, or?
When it goes to sad, when metta goes to sadness, and it's not just your sadness, but it's sadness for the confusion or the ill will or the dullness or delusion of sentient beings, we're moving towards compassion. Okay? Which is not sad, which is understanding, but it can be experienced as a sadness. There's a couple ways to say Om Mani Padme Hum. You know the mantra of great compassion wisdom? You can sing it like really happy. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. You know, it's just really lovely. But also, when you're contemplating what goes on among the confusion and ill and suffering of sentient beings, it may be something like this. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. But if you're too sad, it may be a self-sad, and it may, when we get too sad, we may not be able to help anybody because we don't have the insight. So yes, sadness of the dilemma, the situation of sentient beings is love, but it's moving towards compassion, which is how do I help beings out of that? What can I do for beings? And that's compassion. Not just caring, but what can we do for beings? And that comes from the insight that beings are actually suffering. Yeah. I think that's plenty for this morning. So you got lots of work to do. And actually I'm going to read to the end, and because tomorrow, or this evening, we will come to some other considerations. By not holding to fixed views, let's go to the text that you've got in front of you. That's the one. Nope, here it is. Let him resolve, or her resolve, upon this mindfulness, this recollection, this divine abiding, this Brahma Vihara, they say. But when he or she has no trafficking, isn't that beautiful? No dealing in views, no fabrications with views, is virtuous, that means ethical and in the parami, and has perfected seeing, insight, wisdom, penetrative insight, and purges greed for sensual desires. That means purges attachment for sensing, having to get off on sensing. Sensing. He surely comes to no more to any womb, to no becoming, having to become, subject to becoming. So that's where we come to the Four Noble Truths. We need to then examine the Four Noble Truths. Yes?
Sure. So, he surely comes no more to any womb would be unborn.
Unborn. Yeah. No need to cling to an existence. No need to cling to a non-existence. Yeah. Doesn't mean no more rebirth, no more subject to having to be reborn either in this lifetime or another lifetime. That's freedom. So this last paragraph is actually liberation. This is the result of merging metta meditation with profound wisdom practice. Then that's the last paragraph. Not a tranquility meditation, but metta meditation conjoined with penetrative awareness into the nature of mind, into the nature of phenomena, leads to no more subject to becoming, having to become, having to be in existence. Huge clinging, enormous clinging. Anybody that faints, passes out, just feel what that's like. It's very disconcerting, isn't it? Yeah. That's plenty for this morning. Come back tonight, and we're going to resume with some awareness, body sensation, and perhaps a few points of Dharma this evening at 7:30. By this powerful activity, this punya kamma, may it lead to the cessation of confusion, wandering of all sentient beings. May all beings have excellent relative happiness and health, and may all beings discover innate primordial awareness, unbound, unborn, as the most glorious gift for all sentient beings. Sarvamangalam, Sarvamangalam, Sarvamangalam.